Magic Sword. Now, here's a game right up my alley. A straightforward hack and slash with medieval overtones. I love medieval overtones. Now, there were several types of these games released in the 90s, but Magic Sword has always held a sweet spot in my heart. And I'll get into the whys in a moment, but first, I want to satisfy some of the tech geeks who watch my channel and talk a little bit about the hardware. Now, Capcom released Magic Sword in 1990 on their CPS-1 system. It was a 16-bit Motorola board with 8-bit sound and over 4,000 colors and 256 sprites that could be on screen at once. It boasted really nice specs for the day, but the CPS-1 was really prone to bootlegging, and it didn't last much more than 3 years later, and then they moved on to the CPS-2. Now, the story is a familiar one for games of this kind of fashion. Evil villain up in a tower, has magic orb, must be destroyed, end of the world, save us, blah blah blah. We've all heard it before. One of the great aspects of Magic Sword was you could pick up a wingman to fight alongside of you. Besides being able to play co-op with a friend, both of you could have changeable sidekicks that would fight for you, giving the game a nice sense of variation depending on which sidekick you picked and how far you wanted to go with him. Every hack and slash needs a big man. This character is incredibly strong and throws axes that return to him. He deals great damage, but he's very slow on the recharge. The opposite is true with the Amazon. She fires multiple crossbow bolts, but each one is rather on the weak side. The ninja is also fast and on the weak side, but his shurikens spread out and ricochet off objects, hitting enemies on the return sometimes as well. The thief is an interesting companion choice. His bombs are rather strong, but his throwing range is not as far as the other characters. However, a thief can detect hidden treasure chests and traps, which is incredibly handy. But the problem is, to recruit a thief, you need to have a diamond ring in your possession that you can find throughout the game. The priest has decent damage and a slow recharge. His holy magic hones in on the enemies and really fries undead monsters more than the other characters doing extra damage. All the while, he casts a protective shield around him. The wizard deals a great amount of damage, but is very slow to recharge. His magical aura also can shield him, very much like the priest. The knight is a hardy, powerful friend. He throws mighty spears that can kill most any enemy. And then there is the unlikely ally of the winged lizard man, who he'll attack you as a foe unless you also carry a diamond ring. If you have that ring, he'll become a very powerful helper to you and fight with you by throwing swords. Now, there's 50 floors to climb to get to the orb at the top of the tower. Magic Sword is one of the few games that lets you select how high up the tower you want to begin at. We're going to start at the very beginning just to get a flavor for the game. We're going to start off with the most basic equipment, just a regular sword. Up in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see your vitality bar. That's your hit points. You can continue by putting more credits in, and it will be incredibly addictive to do that. We go straight forward to collect as many keys as we can, because all our companions will be prisoners in the game, and we only can get them by liberating them. And we can choose. If we liberate them and we don't want that particular companion, we can move on. You can also have magic, zapping guys, all on the screen. To activate your magic, you just have to hit the fire and the jump simultaneously. And we're going to free our first prisoner. It'll be the Amazon. Now, the Amazon just happened to be a random one it selects. If I don't like the Amazon, I can find another prisoner, and you can see them in there. As long as I have a key, I can pick the lock. See if I want to use it. By picking him, I just have to walk past him. The first character will leave, and I've now got the second character. It's a very cool system, and it's random as well, so you don't know who you're going to find. As you level up, your companions will level up, and you can make them level up even faster by rescuing the same companion, so that when you save the second, let's say the big man, which I have now, he'll be a level 2, which will increase his damage and his health. So here's our first minor boss. At the lower bottom, you can see my companion has his own hit points there. When it's red, that's good. When it's blue, you're dying. And you can see my vitality on the top is very low. The little golden box there is your inventory and what you have. So that is interesting to do because items in this game will increase certain abilities. Now, as far as graphics go, I think Capcom did a really, really nice job on animating and drawing all these sprites. There's no end to the variation of monsters and the colors and the scheme of everything. The backgrounds look really nice. There's so many different scenes and scenarios, from lava pits to water traps to caverns to Egyptian scenes. It's really good, and it keeps you wanting to play. It keeps you wanting to climb the tower, and that's also a nice fact, that at the end of each little phase of a floor, you actually see your character going up to the next level. So it gives you the illusion that you actually are climbing up the tower, and that's great. This game is mindless. It's just a hack and slash love fest. Unlike other games of the time, namely Dungeons & Dragons that Capcom put out, you can't go up and down. It's just left and right. The axis is very simple. Those other games gave you a little bit different depth, but the fact that you can change your assistants with the companions that you can release from their prisons, what a great idea that was. And I commend them for making a really fun, mindless, enjoyable game. I love this game. I always have enjoyed it. It makes me feel good playing this game. The effects that your characters have as they progress in levels will also be obviously manifesting in bigger, better ways. Fireballs will be bigger, swords will be multiplied. It's a fantastic game. The game was also ported on the Super NES back in '92, which looks like a really nice port as well. You can play this also on Capcom Classics on the PSP and on the PlayStation 2 and Xbox. And it was also released as a bundle with Final Fight, another fantastic game if you're interested in playing that, for Xbox Live Arcade and the PlayStation Network. So you can play this game today. It's out there. It's recommended. And then finally, when you get to the 50th level and you defeat the evil wizard, you're then faced with the question, do you destroy the magic orb, ending this problem forever, or do you take possession of the orb and become the world's next evil overlord?